Charlie Weatherall. Can you share with us the Africa program at CDD and what that entails?
Yeah, so of course we have drug discovery scientists across the world working to cure all sorts of diseases, from the very popular ones to the neglected, obscure ones. So we have worked with the Gates Foundation for a number of years, being the collaborative platform for their TBDA research initiative. And part of that, they had visited some scientists in Africa. And the real need there is to, number one, collaborate, but number two, manage their data. And when resources are tight, it seems that the data management part is what gets left off, because you have to screen the drugs, you have to synthesize the compounds, you know have to run them through various assays. Um, you don't necessarily have to have a data management platform. So we thought it would be a great place, and Barry thought it would be a great place to contribute to the good of the world, is to provide CDD Vault as the data management platform for any drug discovery scientist in Africa who is collaborating to find cures for the world.
And can you share a bit about our support team, which we call A team, and how that both what that does for the program in Africa as well as for our commercial clients every day, and how it's different at CDD versus other organizations that you've seen in your illustrious career?
By illustrious, you mean long. I know, I know. Yeah, I mean, I've been over 3 decades in the support industry, life sciences, software support. So I've certainly seen many different companies do support, and I would put our current support team up to any of them that I've ever come across as the absolute best, hands down. It's very proud to have people from Hawaii to Finland supporting our users in CDD Vault. And I don't know, that we are just lucky. The team is excellent. Even the mundane day-to-day tasks that burn out so many people in our support industry seem to encourage and motivate our team. They want to answer the questions. And in fact, they kind of race to the queue to see who can grab a question first whenever they come in. It's quite remarkable to see. Also, like at CDD, we don't treat users who are on our free program versus users who pay hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for CDD Vault. We don't treat them any differently. All of the users are users, and they get the same level of support and respect. They get the same response times. In fact, honestly, users come in and I don't even know which organization they're from necessarily. So I don't know if their size of their company or the amount of money they spend. I just know they have a question and they need an answer, and we work to get that for them.
Beautiful. Thank you, and thank everyone on supporting both for the neglected disease and commercial every day, 24/7, 365. Mariana, to move to the personal side and share across different continents as well. Can you share a bit about your experience with neglected disease like Chagas disease, as well as some of the more, Charlie called it popular, but I think common is the word, diseases like cancer that you mentioned in the book, to give us perspectives on both, regardless of the economics
Yeah,
and how they've touched you personally.
yeah. Actually, as you know, I grew up in South America. I grew up in a place called Oncativo, in the middle of Cordoba, middle of nowhere in Argentina. And although the diseases like malaria are not prominent there, there are other neglected diseases like Chagas disease that certainly in the north of Cordoba are quite or were at the time quite prominent. These days it's more about dengue, Zika, chikungunya, but Chagas is still there. And Chagas is a silent disease. It's just you have it and you don't necessarily know that you have it, and it kills you with time, right? And it's a surprise after 20 years. It just flourishes and kills you. So we have people close to us that actually had Chagas and kind of form you when you are so young and you know that that is happening around you. It's just, I think it makes you more empathic, yeah. And of course, with years, I always work towards neglected disease or contributing in areas of neglected disease. But because I was in different commercial settings, that wasn't that easy. And until you get to CTD. And I think, Barry, you know the legend of the red thread, the Chinese legend of the red thread. The Chinese legend of the red thread says that there is an invisible red thread that connect people that are destined to meet somehow, no matter the time, the place, the circumstances. This red thread is invisible, is there, and it links you. And I think, Barry, you managed to kind of throw that red thread and merge many of us that has somehow a common guiding purpose or idea forged by our past, right? But difficult past or experiences in our past. And I think CDD is the kind of the condensation of those past come into one to help the community. And we have the purpose, right? We meet, it's business meets purpose here. And our purpose is just to help the community develop new drugs. And it's a little grain of the sand, that we contribute, but everything helps. And I think that's it.
Thank you. Yeah, can you talk about the red thread that you've unwound across Asia, from South Korea to India to Africa to other continents to
absolutely.
Europe?
Yeah, CDD, it's as you know, CDD is a worldwide company, and in every I have the privilege of being involved in different countries across the continent, the different continents, starting with Korea, Japan, Australia, China. We have a lovely group of people there that help day in and day out the communities with their data and progress the research through their data. And we move into India. And India, Barry, you wrote very eloquently in your chapter, and it certainly forged you, and it forged me as well, because it's a vibrant, challenging, wonderful community of super clever people, and that we help a lot. And then, of course, we have South America. We have the whole of Europe, which is a very, very established research community with the soul to match. And we always have our kind of side in Africa, trying to level up the African team to the same level of Europe, to the same level of North America in terms of technology. Mm-hmm. I think if we empower them to have the same technology, they will get to the same place. So all of us are linked together with the same kind of red thread and the same purpose, which is solving these diseases that somehow kind of go through the world. So yeah, it's
a little bit about how CDD connects to different cultures and languages. How many languages do you and other people
Oh,
on our team speak? Maybe just starting with Europe, and then we can
yeah.
a little more broadly.
It's interesting. I don't know. We probably in the company we probably speak 20, 30 languages. I just don't know. I speak 4 or 5, something like that. And um, yeah, of course I speak the Latin languages, Spanish, Italian, etc. Plus a bit of German, a bit of English, a bit of French, and what's not. So, but there are people in the company that speak Chinese, Japanese, Korean, all sort of different, and some obscure languages as well, right? And so obscure because some of them are not longer in existence. Um, so yeah, we have multiple cultures in the team because it's a mix. It's not just about the language, but also about the cultural fit, and somehow we all fit together very well. And again, because the guiding purpose is the same, right? Is the empathy, is collaboration, is helping each other, just making sure that we all move forward together. So, yeah, it's uh, it's an invisible connection that links our experience and our decisions, our passions and our future. So,
Perfect. Thank you, Mariana. John McCarthy, you mentioned in the book overcoming dyslexia, which a lot of famous writers, leaders have done and become even stronger, as well as some personal things with your mom. Can you share both your professional experience vis-a-vis CDD, as well as some of your personal experiences and how that's informed superior design and creative work in your
Uh,
life?
I can do my best to try. Yes. um, uh, Sorry, Barry. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. So the dyslexia thing, um, I didn't know I had it until I was 18 years old, and no, 19 years old actually, because when I wrote my thesis for my qualifications, my typography tutor approached me and said she didn't know if she was going to fail me or give me a distinction. And she said, the way that we're going to find out is you're going to go for a test for dyslexia. And extremely luckily for me, I was dyslexic. And so I got a distinction rather than being kicked off the course, which would have been absolutely appalling. And it's something that I've endured my entire life, and I actually enjoy it now. The fact that I still confuse form and from and card and crad and still can't write thank you. It's always snack, and it doesn't really matter how I try and retrain my cognitive processes. It's just the way it is. And thank the Lord for Grammarly, because otherwise I'd be, out of a job. And it is frustrating because it does make the work that you deliver for people like CDD, obviously it's prone to error. And you guys, even though you know of my problems, I'm sure, what you actually see is after mostly it's been checked by people who don't have the same condition as me, and occasionally there are still errors in it, but one does what one can to to just get over it. And I, as I say, I look at the design success, for which I'm very grateful for, not um despite it, but because of it. It's I'm very lucky that I have a talent, and yeah, I'm delighted to use it all the time. And so my dyslexia really isn't a barrier anymore. When people are unaccepting of it, I think I see it more as their problem rather than mine. As simple as that. I cannot remember
I mean,
the other
one of the
thing you asked
ways
to speak about.
one of the ways I think about it is um, if you have to work at something harder, whether it's lifting weights or learning a new field or thinking, you imprint in your brain the effort needed to do more than
Yeah,
others will that don't have that. And so I think you can see this. There's very famous writers, very famous leaders who, because of that extra effort required, when they do have to unscramble the letters or whatever, it means that whenever they don't, their already mind is operating with greater effort. And that means that the results in the 99% of the time when it's not around there still has that extra, um, I don't know, trying more, thinking harder, or doing more. So I do think there are a lot of examples for whatever reason where it leads to a great strength. And of course, you see that with people who are blind and their hearing gets better, and
yeah.
vice versa. If you're deaf and you're better at reading lips and body language. So um, yeah, all these things have a yin and a yang to it. And anything else about your professional and personal experiences vis-a-vis CDD, elaborating on what you wrote in the book
I
chapter?
think, I mean, CDD are, I think they are currently, I think I've served CDD longer than any of my other current clients, because I think you're on about 10 or 11 years. The record is 28 years for a single client, which shows my age. But the joy of CDD was it's been revealed to me over that time. When I first started working for you, I'd met Mariana and I knew it was good. And that's all I understood as a designer. These people are great. You need to do this. And it's only over time that you get more of an understanding of actually, this really is incredibly special. And I am privileged to be a part of it. And I don't have a scientific education, but I feel it in the conversations and the emails. Abraham, who I've worked with the most, I so enjoy. If I have an email from him, I can't wait to open it. It's just great. I don't know what it is. I don't even need to know why it is, but I make things for Abraham. I enjoy doing it, and if a client benefits from the design, both commercially, but also it makes them actually feel better. It's like a drug, I just do it. I live to do it, Barry. I literally live to do it, and it's with other clients from the past when I was a young man and I was in the West End and I was designing for all sorts of people, including some really bad, tobacco companies and kind of alcohol companies, and it was absolutely awful. And you never found those sort of connections, no matter how hard you worked, no matter how good the design was, no matter what. It was a shallow, what feels like now a pointless existence. I would much, much rather work for CDD than literally any of those guys I can remember from the West End. I'm so glad that I have nothing to do with them anymore. I only work for life science and educationalists. I have very few other clients, and it wasn't by design. It's just what's happened to me over 30. Well, it's I've been designing for 35 years across 5 decades, and only now am I in a place where opening my email in the morning is really exciting. I don't know who's going to be in there, but I know it's going to be great. Certainly not any of the guys from the past. But the thing with my mum that you mentioned, um, the kindness that showed me when you sent me an email once, Barry, and we had a conversation. My mum was having memory tests at the time, and everyone was talking about powers of attorney and all these things that were supposed to help her. And you said about a friend of yours who was in a similar situation, and that he, against his other sort of brothers and sisters, he was saying she's just further down the road than other people, and you what you remember are the good things, and you don't recall so many of the mundane things because your memory bank is actually full, so it's harder for new things to go in. And it has completely changed how I deal with it. The reason I'm late for this call is because, having arranged a pre-op for tomorrow morning, because she's having a hip replacement in December, which was a big life-changing piece of news, which I gave to her on Tuesday last week. When I rang today, I discovered she'd forgotten. So I've just had to hastily make some arrangements to ensure that she does arrive at the correct hospital in the morning. And each episode I go through with her, I remember your email, and I'm really glad to do all of the things that I do for her. I'll shut up and I'll be exactly who she needs me to be. And bless her, she's an amazing woman who just keeps on fighting through. And so yes, that's the personal one of the things that I've got from CDD. But it's more than that. It's all the people that I meet on the Teams calls. I went to London last year and I met some of the CDD team. And I just signed up today because there's an event in Cambridge, my country. Yay! So I've signed up to go, not because as I say, I don't have any scientific knowledge, but what I get when I go to things like that and I'm allowed to sit at the back is an education. I see what it means to people and I feel it. And that's why I go, because that does influence my creative output big time. The little sound bites go in, I remember them. The looks people have when they're watching different presentations, I just enjoy being around those people and observing and learning what I can. I know nothing about molecules, um, but thank heavens you guys do. So it's that's how I look at it. I'm on the side of the angels.
Well, thank you, John, for your beautiful words, and
You're
I'll end
welcome.
with showing thank you for your beautiful design here of the sun rising out of
The
the
sunrise,
ocean of
yes.
CDD Vault, which Mariana ideated and you brought to life. And on that note, thank you for your time.